Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here, Smart Business Moves. Got Liz with us. Hey, Liz.
Hey, y'all. Oh, a bunch of
And
people on already.
our secret guest for today, if for those of you, I think maybe we had a couple people guess, it's Greg Shepard. Hey, Greg, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. It's Thursday. It's on the spot. I mean, heck, this is as good as it gets.
Yeah. And you know what? Do you like I like on the spot better on Thursday, Tom. Do you like it better on Thursday?
I think it's awesome on Thursday. I don't feel a lot of
Yeah.
pressure. Friday,
Yeah.
once it starts getting towards the end of the day, people have other things on their mind. So I really feel bad like dragging it out to the end. But Thursday's a work day, so let's do it.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Hey, Leslie. Hey, Debbie. Good to see you guys. So you guys are the only people that are live on the spot at the moment that I can see. I'm sure there's other people that are watching, but they haven't commented yet. So you guys are pulling all of the work. You guys are going to have to do all the work of asking all the questions. Luckily, I actually have 2 questions because I usually try to get at least a couple in case we get slow, but not too many. Because one good thing about on the spot is when we're done, we're done. We all get a shorter day.
And, Greg's been a guest of ours on at least 2 occasions previously. And, he runs 2 maid services in one market in Dallas, and both of them rank on the first page from an SEO standpoint. He also helps other businesses with their SEO needs. So you can ask, questions about SEO. You can ask questions about running multiple cleaning businesses in one market. You can ask questions about a lot of things, and Greg can give you firsthand experience because Greg's been there, done that, done it all.
Also, anything to do with, go ahead, Greg.
Oh yeah, no, I've been wanting to do an SEO business for the longest time. I figured if I can rank myself on the front page, I can help others. But we haven't officially started yet. We're actually incorporating right now, and so looking forward to it. I don't know. It's I find ranking websites at the very top just fun. And thanks for shouting out because I look forward to do that.
Before we jump in on the spot, we'll take just a minute here and talk about what we're going to be doing next week, because today's Thursday and we won't be here tomorrow, but we'll be back Monday. And we've got some pretty cool stuff lined up next week. Marty Paris is CEO of a company called Analair. They're a company that makes on-site generation equipment for hypochlorous acid. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about a technology that can take basically tap water and salt and apply electrolysis, and it's a split stream generator where this equipment will make a disinfectant, and it will also at the same time make a high alkaline general purpose cleaner, degreaser. A number of you guys know Robin Murphy, for instance. Robin Murphy has used this equipment for a long time, this technology, and she's got a really large cleaning business in Westchester, just north of Manhattan. There's other people who do this too.
Joanna does this, doesn't she?
Joanna Douglas, exactly. And they're able to give the disinfectant away to their clients and make donations with it. And hospitals, healthcare institutions, school systems are going crazy buying this technology because they're trying to, get ahead of this in order to, get ready to open the schools for COVID. There's all kinds of stuff that they're dealing with in the school systems. I learned that they're afraid to put hand sanitizer out because sometimes the kids will take it and steal it and take it to the bathroom and try to drink it, stuff like that. But because this is the way that this is created, it's the only disinfectant that is also Green Seal certified. I mean, it's in your body naturally. You can drink it and squirt it in your eyes if you want to. We'll let Marty tell us all about it. but in the COVID-19 world, I figured that everybody at least needs to know it exists. If you're not familiar with it, you really want to see this. You'll be shaking your head saying, gee, who would have thought it?
So Tom, tell me a little bit on Monday. Will this be like a sales thing? Is this going to be?
It's going to be about the technology. There are a dozen companies out there that do the same thing with the same technology, and you really can't go wrong with any of them. This guy has a particular company, but he's not going to be selling his equipment. He's just going to be telling the science behind it, how it works, and it'll be very informative. And then we get asked the question, well, gee, maybe this is something that would work in my business. And if the question is, yeah, I think it would, then you can go through the process of, looking, we can give you a list of companies that do it. He's one of them.
I like that. Thanks.
God, we got Kurt back on Tuesday. If you guys
That's so weird. He was just here yesterday.
Well, did you guys? I guess some of you guys were here yesterday. Kurt is a whirlwind. He was. It was like one of those shows that we got. Like 10 minutes to the end, and it was obvious that we weren't even beginning to get to the end of what it was that we needed to talk about. So he was able to fit us in for next week, and he's going to come back and talk about 3 things that you can do now to increase your close rate and ticket price. And if you can do those 2 things in your business, you're going to be making more money. And that's kind of what it's all about.
I'm in.
Kurt was with us last week too. Ken Carfagno. And we're going to be picking up on the discussion of solos. That was really an interesting and useful discussion as well. And he has a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. Liz, share with Greg. Greg, if you weren't here yesterday, Liz gave us a little insight in terms of her criteria for inviting people on Smart Business Moves. How does it work, Liz?
Hey, what's the criteria?
So Greg already knows this. So one of the things that I noticed, and that was also pointed out to me, is that I always say how much I love this guest, right? I love something about them. Oh, I'm the one that invites these people, and I'm the one that chooses them. So of course I love them. Why am I going to be inviting people that I don't like, right? But I said yesterday that, there are some very great people out there that I don't particularly love. And so I'm going to be inviting them, a couple of them, but anybody that's an insider on the show will be able to tell who they are, because I will not be saying, I love this guy or I love this gal. Tom, don't be making me repeat this. It was only an insider view for very certain people.
I'm just looking forward to somebody getting a call from you next week saying, hey, you want to do Smart Business Moves? And automatically it's like, why, you don't like me?
Yeah, and we only invite you one time.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about on the spot? How about on the spot for next Thursday? Do you have a hint for us?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember who it is. I never have a hint on Fridays. You should know that by now, Tom. I mean, on Thursdays.
It's Thursday.
That's why I said on Thursdays.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We do have a few questions that people are already getting ready for. Hey, Linda, you could ask a couple of questions around some of the different issues that you've had to deal with in the past. Well, actually, we all have crazy issues that we've had to deal with in the past. But one thing I wanted to point out about Greg that everybody always talks about is SEO. Yes. Greg's SEO is amazing. And yes, he does, this really cool thing with the 2 different businesses and competing against himself. But don't forget that whenever you're just thinking about like a successful business person who knows how to run businesses, Greg really doesn't have to work in his businesses. He's got 2 that are up, running, successful. And so, don't just get focused in on just SEO or just how you are competing against each other. The guy knows how to run business because he's successful without any of the other stuff that's going on. So any question around running a business is going to be a good question. Yeah. All right.
Okay. Do we want to? Is there anything else happening in the world that we want to talk about? Should talk about? Want to talk about before we get started?
What about anything new with the stimulus? I know that I had people talking about it yesterday, but anything new with the stimulus checks? Or I heard there was 500 going out or 1,200 or something going out to some people this week.
So I read that the president's trying to push 400 out per week. I think that the right and left were, I don't know, I think they were at an impasse and couldn't decide.
Stimulus or unemployment?
Unemployment.
Yeah.
Unemployment. Okay. They still at an impasse. Last you heard.
Yeah, from last I read, might have changed since then.
Last I saw was like from this morning, and the thinking was that Congress is at a gridlock and they really aren't doing much, and there weren't many expectations this morning. I don't know if the clouds parted, later today, but I haven't heard anything. The only thing that's hanging out there was the executive orders that the executive branch signed Saturday, I guess it was.
Mhm.
And that's the $400 benefit, unemployment benefit, 100 which has to come from the state. We don't know if that's going to happen. And the payroll tax holiday, which is not really money that's forgiven. It's just you don't have to pay it now. And there's a lot of concern that at some point in the future, the Treasury would come back and say all those taxes that you didn't collect for those months back in 2020, you owe us all that now, and we'd be on the hook for both the employer and the employee side. So, there's no guidance out on that, but it sounds like that's something that's not nearly as great as, the press release.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the day when they were announcing stuff and they were putting these things together, I mean, everything was a win. Now it's like, and they spoiled us. It's their fault for giving us too much stuff. Now everything's like not looking as great anymore. Darn it.
Yeah, it's kind of scary out there. The stock market's doing all right, but I don't know how long it can last. People are suffering, and if you want the economy to do better, get money into people's hands, and they need money to spend, because if you spend money, that means businesses can actually make products and services. And if they can make products and services, the more they make, the more they hire, and thus the more people have money in their hands. And that's the way to come out of something like this. Unfortunately, the reverse is true too. You take money away from people, they have less to spend. Businesses sell less products and services. They have to let people go, and that's even less people to have money. So the trick is to get money in people's pockets. So I hope the government finds a way to do that.
Yeah. And without making it so that our employees don't want to work. They would rather just stay home and collect money.
Oh yeah, that's a worry too.
That's a little stickler right there. Yeah, a little sticking point.
Do you guys want to go ahead and jump in with on the spot here?
Yeah, we probably should. We got a bunch of questions starting up.
Here, Leslie's asking us a question, but before we take this on, I'm going to ask her to maybe elaborate a little bit.
Okay.
I'm thinking she might be asking about, hiring people to help her with her SEO. But it's not clear to me that that's exactly what it is. So before we take that on, Leslie, if you could explain a little bit about what we're paying for, we'll take that one on.
I'm thinking that she posted it right when Greg was talking about that. So yeah. I'm pretty sure that is.
Do you want to take that one then, Greg? And we really want to put that one on the clock because I don't.
I'm glad to. Well, Leslie, first and foremost, learn the basics yourself. Learn the basics yourself, and you could probably do a better job than most any professional, because one, you know your business, you know exactly you know your business. 2, you have more incentive to do it right. That's one of the issues with a lot of SEO companies, that they are so concerned about delivering results, they might do some questionable tactics, which could come back later and just bite you in your butt. So my advice is learn the basics and do it yourself for free. It's not that hard. It just takes some time and effort. But if you're going to hire a SEO company, it really depends on your market. A big market like Dallas, which has a lot of competition online, that's going to be higher than, let's say, a smaller city out in the middle of nowhere. So you could expect to pay less there. So I guess it really matters. Now, let me read your question here just quickly. What should I expect to pay monthly? And what should I expect in return? How do I know what they are doing for their fee? Well, I'd have to ask, find out what city you're in and kind of get an idea of what the competition is, because some cities have more competition, some cities have less. And so it's really on how much effort it takes for them to do it. Now, what can you expect? You should expect, if you're paying a good SEO company, you should expect within 6 months, not in the very beginning, but around the 4th or 6th month, you should be able to see your ranking rise quickly. You should expect, preferably on the first page, and also appearing in the 3-pack. The 3-pack is the 3 businesses that are showcased at the top of the first page on Google.
You should expect that, Greg, in 6 months.
I can do it, and if I can do it, and I haven't started my taking on customers yet, but I'm close, then I would assume that a good SEO company should be able to do that too. And finally, what do you know? Okay. How do you know, or how do you know what they're doing for their fee? That's a good question. And a lot of SEO companies might be not as transparent as they should be. They should be showing you what exactly they're doing online, what backlinks they're doing, what press releases they're doing. They should be able to report that all to you. I know in my business, instead of reporting to my customers, I'm going to just give them access to our worksheets online, so they can just follow the progress whenever they want. So whoever you hire should be transparent. Absolutely.
Okay. It's tricky.
So it's kind of like asking the question, how much is it going to cost to get my house cleaned? Well, that depends on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
How big's your house? How dirty is your house? How many kids live in your house? How many pets do you have?
And hey, by the way, Leslie, shoot me a quick email, greg@dallasmaze.com, with your website and city, and I'll take a look and see how competitive it is, and maybe offer you some tips on your SEO.
Yep. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and
kind offer. Thanks. That was really nice, Greg.
Okay, let's go ahead and jump in on the spot. Debbie's got a question. She's doing vacation rentals, and she's quoting a 10,000 square foot, 6 bed, 6 bath, sleeps 22 guests.
Wow.
That's a big house. A little out of the comfort zone. So, advice on bidding vacation rentals. So the way we do this, we start the clock, and I'll go first this time. Greg, you second, Liz third. We all take turns going first. So next time you'll go first, Greg, and Liz second, and me third, and so on and so forth. And we have up to a minute to answer. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Bang. There's a lot to doing vacation rentals on top of just the regular cleaning that you'd be doing. You'll have linen services that you need to deal with. So you need to figure out how the linens and towels being handled. Are you washing them on site? Does the manager of the property give them to you? Are you expected to be providing those? Soap and paper products, you need to know about those as well. And if you're having to provide those services or those linens, and you're going to have to charge extra for those. The actual cleaning, you're going to want a scope of work. Typically, it's just a very light general clean, because you're going to be able to get in at 10 and you're going to be expected to be out by 4 for the next guests to be coming in. there's a lot of moving parts to this, and we bid these, and we do that on a room by room basis, and we know how much time we allow for each room, and that's how we get the cleaning cost, and we add the linens and the paper products on top of that.
Way to go, Tom. I think that might be unprecedented for you, Tom, to do it exactly on time.
On time. Well, I've been practicing all week on that. Thank you.
That's good, Tom. Yeah, props.
You ready, Greg?
I'm ready. Let's do this. Okay, well, I don't have any vacation rentals, so take my advice with a grain of salt. One, never be intimidated. Don't worry about your comfort zone. Just go for it. Two, I would probably have a checklist of what they need to done. Every item that needs to be done. I would then want to figure out how long it takes for my people to do it, and then figure out a price on how long it takes, and making sure that my folks are paid sufficiently. A checklist is fantastic for this because it's not like a regular claim, because like Tom says, there's going to be other things that you need to do that are probably unique to the property, and to have a checklist for your people to sign off on will ensure that it's done. But anyway, I was just trying to figure out how long it would take, because I know these would probably take a little bit less time than a regular home. I hope that helps.
Very good. You ready, Liz?
Yep. Okay, Debbie, so I don't have a lot of experience with vacation rentals, but I do a lot of Airbnb stuff. So I'm going to give you my little bit of insight on that. What I have found is that I sort of bid them the same as I would a residential home, because the cleaning is much less, but by the time I add in the expenses for the other stuff, it ends up being very, very close to the same price. I agree with Greg. Checklist is really, really important on these kinds of properties, because they're not all the same. A lot of the stuff is the same, but not all of it. So let's see, I had one more thing and I wish I would have written it down. Make sure that you know if you're going to have to be doing anything around food products, because that completely changes what you're going to have to do there.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry. This is sort of an emergency. I'll be right back, okay?
That's okay. He has to go. That's how he gets out of going first, Tom. You see that? You see how tricky he is?
That is a unique strategy. I don't think that we've ever had that before.
I'm using it next time. Next week, when you see me just have an emergency come up and I happen to be first, you'll know where I got that.
Okay. Well, I guess that means you're going first here, Liz.
All right, I'll go first. But then Greg has to take my first spot next time.
How do you get your staff to slow down? Seems like they're rushing and getting sloppy. That's a good question. I like that question.
I do too. It's really good.
You ready for this, Liz?
Sure.
Bang.
Okay, so Debbie, I don't put the focus on how fast people go. I don't care how fast they go or how slow they go. I focus on the outcome. So what I want is I want the work to look a certain way. And if they can make it look that way in a shorter amount of time, yay, more money for me. And I actually kind of like that because I pay hourly. Now, one thing that I do watch carefully is if a client gives us a rating, like we use scorecards, if they give us a rating that is not perfect, it's not the highest rating that we have, then they're not allowed to go under in their time. Then they have to stay there the whole entire time. And if they can't figure out what to do, they're welcome to call the office and we'll tell them what to do. So that's one of the controls we have.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey, Greg, we're going to steal your strategy. When you have to go first, just have an emergency.
Yeah, that was unique. We've never had that happen before.
I'm so sorry. Well, anyway, I had to take that call. So sorry, guys.
Hey, as long as nobody's hurt, we're glad. We're fine,
Yeah.
Greg.
Yeah. All right. So the question is, how do you get your stuff to slow down?
What we're gonna do, Greg, is we're gonna let you go last this time, and then you can go first on the next one, and then we'll be back in sequence. Okay?
Okay.
So
Yeah, you don't do this again because you will get penalized. You see what kind of hosts we are, Greg, right?
No.
We're no nonsense here. This is serious business. Yeah, we sell based on outcomes. We have a scope of work for the job, and if we're meeting that scope of work, then we pay people, a rev share, commission, if you will. So the faster the better, as long as they're getting the scope of work done. But if they are going faster than the allowed time, and if they're getting complaints, if they aren't meeting the scope of work, then we start having discussions about you either need to you need to be making the scope of work regardless. But if you're missing the scope of work and getting out of the homes faster than you're supposed to, then we start having discussions about, demotions, or maybe this isn't a good job for you. So normally it doesn't have to go that direction. It's just a matter of, you got a complaint, slow down, and that usually fixes it. You got to measure the time though. So on a day in and day out, job by job basis, if they're getting out quicker than the allowed time.
Tom is challenging himself now to finish on the one. You see that?
I've been practicing.
All right.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Doesn't matter how long they're there. If they're there quick, if they leave soon or later, who cares? What you want to do is you want to make sure they don't do a sloppy job. And what we do at Dallas Maids is we reward performance. We take in all the feedback from the customers, and those that get great feedback get the bonuses, the raises, and the first choice of jobs. If they don't perform and they get sloppy, then little bonus that affects their raises, and they don't get their choice of jobs. In fact, they get less jobs. So that's how we take care of that problem. And we do very well with online reviews. Our customers are happy, and I think it works. So pay by performance, I think, is the best way to go.
Cool.
I like this.
Okay. So, Greg, you're going to go first this time. And
yeah.
This is an employee theft issue. How do you handle theft on the job?
Oh, this is perfect. We don't have theft issue at Dallas Maids. Okay. Theft. First, you got to find the right people. You got to screen the right people. And what we do, we have actually a personality test that we use for new candidates. It actually lets us know important things about the personality. One is how likely are they to steal. That's one. Two, we let all our ladies know that if they're ever accused of theft, that Dallas Maids will pay for a polygraph test if they choose to take one, with the idea of clearing their name. But they know that option is out there. Is a powerful incentive of nothing coming up missing. I hope that helps.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah.
You ready, Liz?
Yeah. Okay, so one of the things that we do is, like Greg said, is try to get the right people in. So on day one of our employment, while we're in our testing phase, we have a I think it's a $10 bill, might be a 20, I'm not sure, that says testing bill on it. And we put it, we place it in a certain spot, and then we give them opportunity to steal it. And then if they do, then we just take them home. And if they don't, great. Not to say they're not going to steal in the future, but that's what we do. If anybody does steal something outside of that test, and it's happened to us, I wish I could say it hadn't, our first action is to call the police and to get the police involved. And they usually do a really good job of investigating.
Hey, Liz, I think it's a little early too, but we do the exact same thing. We have, we actually go a lot along lines with that, but we also have, within the first month or two, we have a customer actually solicit our new lady to see if they'll take the bait. And
solicit them to,
like, hey, listen, I love your cleaning, but the price is a little too high. Can you do it for this much? And yes, we do that too. So it's so important to find people with integrity. It's so important to find the right people. That makes a world of difference on everything. Less theft, better service. And actually, if it's okay, let me plug a little blog post I did today on our hiring process. I, actually created a article on DallasMace.com.
Just send us the back link.
All
We'll
right.
make sure that it gets on the website.
Oh gosh, that was my water going toward my laptop. You see that quick reflexes? See me save that?
That was cat like.
Oh, but did I lose?
Ninja fast.
Tricky. What I'm thinking.
Okay. We do have a rule here, Greg, that guests do get more than the full minute. Now,
all right.
If I had stepped in after Liz gave her answer and like augmented my answer by going, I would have been penalized. But you're good. Just
I see this face. You see this face? That's what would happen to Tom. He would have gotten the evil eye.
Oh my God.
But you had to smile and nodded.
Okay, I'm gonna go real quick. Bang. Yeah, it is really important to do background checks when you're hiring. To do, we're a big believer that the behavior and personality tests give you insight of people's, likelihood of theft. You certainly want to do all those, due diligence things for a lot of reasons. But with all your best efforts, occasionally, I would expect that you're going to get an accusation of theft anyway. If it actually happened or not is a separate story, but at least you're going to get accusations of theft. And like Liz said, you want to get the police involved. You want to encourage the client to file a police report. If they're reluctant to do that, then a flag needs to go up. Well, gee, I'm wondering if, what really happened there. But if they file the police report, you want to go ahead and you work with the police. We clean in teams of 2. Part of our process is, we do an investigation, but then we separate those 2 people so they never work together again. So if there's an accusation in the future, we'll know it's only one or the other. Almost got it.
Yeah. Close enough that you didn't give me enough time to.
Didn't get close enough so you could hit me.
That's right.
Okay. Well, here's a question. Basically, Sarah says that she doesn't really care what Liz or I have to say about the matter. But she'd like to hear what Greg has to say. I don't know what to do with this. She doesn't even give us a question.
It's the next thing. She does write it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that far. I got stuck right here. I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't go any further.
You got that right, Sarah? Tom was so offended he couldn't even read any further. That was awesome. You need a question just for Tom now. Come on, Sarah.
No, we don't need to go there. I don't know. Do we give Greg 3 minutes and let him go with this?
Actually, that question requires a lot of time. But
can you do it in 3 minutes, Greg?
I got 3 minutes. I'll give you 3 minutes.
All right.
All our minutes, yeah.
Okay. So you rank in a big city. You never done AdWords or SEO, but you want to take it to the next level and rank in other big cities in the areas. So what should I next move? Okay. First and foremost, Sarah, make sure, of course, make sure you dominate your area. Ideally, you'd want the #1 spot in the 3-pack and the #1 spot in the organic. That's where most people go to find services. The sponsored ads like AdWords are effective, but not as effective as SEO. But they don't hurt, so definitely go for the AdWords, especially if you're breaking into a new market and you haven't ranked for that city yet. But whatever city you do expand in, you want to make sure that you have an address in that city, be it an office or somebody's home. That helps a lot with ranking your SEO, having a physical address there, not a post office, a PO box, or not a virtual office, but a house or office. And after that, just work on basic SEO to get you ranked. I hope that answers your question. And yeah, you're free to welcome to email me at greg@dallasmace.com. I'd be glad to expand on that later on for you.
You didn't even need a full 2 minutes.
You got about a minute and a half here, Greg. Is that all you got?
Well, I really see your situation. I mean, she's in a big city. She's ranking. How well does she rank? I don't know. I'd want to make sure that I dominate the city, and then look at other cities that dominate. Probably nearby cities where you can easily grow. I don't know, Sarah. Were you looking to go into a whole different city, or cities nearby the city that you're at right now? I know it really depends on where you're going.
I think when we checked Sarah's SEO ranking when she was at Foundations, she was #1 organically, wasn't she, Tom?
Honestly,
that's my memory.
I'm not. I don't recall.
That was my memory, and she was like, "What? I am?" I think that was Sarah.
Yeah, you'd want to first. You got to determine what keyword phrases people type in most often to find your business, and then rank for those, of course, and try to get at the very top spot. So I guess really different. You really have to find out which phrases people look for, and that differs from city to city. In Dallas, Texas, maid service Dallas is the keyword. Up north, it's house cleaning, whatever city.
She did give a little more info, yeah.
She ranks in Scottsdale. She doesn't rank in Phoenix.
Oh, hey, good to see you on here. We were talking earlier via email.
Was that Pam?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Pam.
So it doesn't look like we have any more questions there, but I have a couple questions, Tom.
Okay.
That came to me. So the first one was somebody that knew Greg was going to be on, and he wanted to know, and I think you said this last time, Greg, was that you should start yourself. You should learn the basics. And so his question was, if I'm going to start doing my SEO just to get started, what are the first 3 things that I need to focus on?
Oh, that's a good question. First, on-site SEO. Make sure your website is first well written. You don't have to worry about tricks or anything. What Google looks for, in my opinion, is a website that is user-friendly, that's genuine, that provides the users a great experience. So make sure your website has great content. Hire a professional copywriter to do the text. Make sure it flows really well. Don't worry about adding keyword phrases that make the text look awkward. Just be genuine with your website. 2, on your website, your title tag is probably the most important thing. You want to make sure your title tag, that's actually the metadata in your website, but the title tag should have the keywords. With, for example, house cleaning in your city, and then the name of your business. House cleaning, your city, and city being a very common keyword that Google uses. Well, let me get my thoughts straight. You want to find out what keyword phrase that people use most often to find your website, and make sure that's in the title tag. The title tag is also what comes up in the search engine rankings that people are finding you. So one on-site, then off-site is basically the backlink profile. You want quality websites linking to your website. When I say quality, I'm talking about maybe a local news station, or maybe a university, like maybe your alma mater has an alumni directory you can get a backlink from. You want quality websites backlink to your website, because that tells Google that, hey, this website's pretty important. Let's rank them higher. And leverage your network to get those backlinks, because the backlinks that anybody can get easily, everybody does that. But if you can get unique backlinks that your competitors can't get, that gives you that leg up, and that is the way to get to #1 spots. Networks such as providing testimonials for vendors that you use, in hopes that they might publish that to your. My time's up.
We only gave you 12 minutes, Greg. I don't know how your time is up already.
There's so much to do, but I would say Okay, let me think. Your website, backlinks, and your social media, Facebook, Google My Business, maybe a Twitter account, and make sure you have backlinks to and from all those. That's where I would start.
Okay. Website, the title tags, the backlinks, Google My Business, and what was the other one? Facebook?
Yeah, the social media like Google My Business and Facebook are must-haves.
Okay.
And basically trying to get backlinks from other very important websites. The more important and the more they're related to your industry, which is cleaning, and also websites that are located in your city. Those are the ones that you want to go after.
Okay. All right. Do you guys have any more questions? Because I have 2 more questions, but we will prioritize your questions if you guys have any.
Yeah. You guys don't have questions. I mean, if you just want to ask a question for Greg, you know, Liz and I'll sit here. That's easy.
Yeah, we have no problem doing that. But I do have 2 more questions, Tom, that are for everybody.
Okay.
So this one is, what was the worst thing that ever happened in your business, and how did it hurt you or help you?
Okay. Okay, I got more than a minute. Perfect.
Hold on. No, you don't. Wait, you don't have more than a minute. You only get 1 minute for this. And I think, Tom, it's your turn to go first, isn't it?
Yep.
Tom's first.
Okay.
You're second, Greg.
Okay.
And I only get one thing. Bang.
Yeah, you should put the question up.
I think I did. I didn't get the right one. Did I get that right? Was it Liz, and how did it help? Okay.
Or her. That's good.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, you know, I'm going back to like 2007, 2008, when the Great Recession struck. You know, not to say that maybe we're in another one right now, but that one was very real for us. It seemed like we lost like 25% of our business overnight, and we had to learn new things. We basically started soliciting accounts in areas of markets that we'd never been in before. We pushed out and learned to do what we called residential cleaning, where it was it looked like residential cleaning, but we were doing it for corporate accounts, and it changed our business, and we're doing it today. So it was a good experience for us.
That's a really good question, by the way.
You ready, Greg?
Yeah, I am. You know, by far, it was the shelter in place in Dallas when we lost about half our customers. I was terrified. I was terrified that I might have to let people go or furlough them. I was terrified about losing my business. It was definitely the worst time with my business. The great thing is that I explored other mediums of advertising, other customers, and so we discovered a few things on how to bring in more business. We focused on move in, move outs because people were still moving and move out, and people were still hiring for that. We also gave away free cleans because a lot of our customers were paying for services even though they had canceled, and we wanted to pay that forward. And that got us great news coverage on the local TV station.
Cool. You ready, Liz?
I am. All right. So I think that now COVID-19 is the worst time that I've ever had in our business. And this time is affecting us in a lot different way than ever in the past. Like, when the big recession, 2008, 9, 10, all that good time hit, it didn't really impact us that much. It was not that big of a deal for us. We've had some other big things. We flooded a house. We ran a car through a garage. So we've had some stuff like that, but none of those things were all that big. But for COVID-19, I have been out of my depth in some of this a lot of time. I've had to communicate more. My people are more stressed out. In the past, our people has always just been easy. And right now, it's not with money. So right now. All right. Anybody else got a question? If not, I got one more.
Well, Patricia's got one here, which is
Okay.
is a good question.
Yeah.
She didn't
And
say
Tommy,
if she just wanted to hear from Greg or she wanted to hear from all three of us.
Tom, you should too, because you know about this too. I don't. I'm just gonna say pass.
Okay, we'll
Oh,
go.
actually, you can give me 5 seconds, right? I got something.
You're up first, Greg.
Okay. Is this which question from Patricia?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. How to get backlinks. All right. One, there's ways to find out what your competitors are doing, and you can see where they're getting their backlinks, and you can copy that. That's out of the scope of this, but there's a way to do that. Two, the trick, as I said earlier, is to get backlinks that your competitors can't copy, and you can get those through writing testimonials for products that you've used and hoping that they might give you a backlink through maybe your network, getting in the local news. That's a big one. If you can get in the local news and get on the website with an article about cleaning back to your website, it's off to the races then.
Cool. You ready, Liz?
Yep. So I don't have as much knowledge or information, but I do know that there is a place you can go called Help a Reporter Out, HARO.com. And reporters are looking for stories all the time. So if you go there, find stories that you can find a way to twist around to make your company work with. If you can find somebody to publish it, I've had this happen a couple times. You get backlinks to like Better Homes and Gardens and that kind of stuff. Also, CBT, Cleaning Business Today, it will publish stories too. So if you have an interesting story, you can put it there and you can get a backlink there.
Very good. There's several different types of, I guess, just general categories of looking for backlinks. You can, all the directories, the yellow pages online, and there's usually a lot of local directories, and you want to make sure that you're getting your business in every directory that you can get it into. There's tools like Moz Local, and there's others that will help you do that, and you can get a lot real quick. Submitting content, helping, Haro is an excellent resource. Putting content on your own website that can be useful to other people is a good idea. If you don't blog, just having a simple blog post, and you can even find information that other people write and make a blog post referring to it, and then take that and put it in social media and share it with other people.
Oh, wow, that's a good idea.
Very good idea.
Then you can use other people's brains. I always like that.
So, may I add something just about backlinking?
Of course, you're a guest.
Sounds right. Directories are important, and there's some cleaning-related directories that you want to get on, and there's some very important directories that you want to try to get on too. Cleaning for a reason. If you do that, of course, they have a little directory of people that help out cleaning for a reason, and that gets you a backlink. But what you don't want is backlinks in low-quality directories. That is, there's a lot of directories out there that Google could consider as link farms, which is not a good thing. You want to avoid the low-quality directories and low-quality posts. It's really all about quality, and just use your own judgment.
But thinking quality.
Yeah, because, many years ago, if you had just a zillion links out there backlinking to your website, didn't matter from where, low quality websites, Google would rank you. I remember Molly Maids did that, and that was a big mistake because Google made an update and penalized Molly Maids, and they fell out of the rankings, and they had to work hard to unlink and build their link profile back up. So I guess overall, just that's actually another reason to do it yourself, because when you do it yourself, you won't make those mistakes to try to artificially rank your website. The trick, as I said earlier, is to be genuine, and don't try to do things just because you think it's going to rank. For example, and this is kind of getting off topic, but there's so many things you got to watch out for. For example, on your website, make sure you don't have like a list of cities that you work in or a list of zip codes that you provide service in. Google sees that as spammy, and it won't help rank your website. At worst, it can actually harm it. But going back to link directories, just choose the ones that are quality ones.
So don't try to be sneaky. It's the same advice your mama gave you when you were growing up, right?
Exactly.
Don't be sneaky.
Exactly.
Be a good girl. That's what my mama told me. Okay, I got one more question. If nobody else has a question, I'm gonna put up mine. This person wants to know, what is a realistic close rate? She hears different close rates all the time, and how does she know what is realistic? How should she determine what a realistic close rate is?
So, Liz, I have you going first this time.
How about you go first, Tom?
Sure.
I figure I can ask.
Okay.
Smart business moves.
The devil's in the details on this one. You'll hear people talk about close rates where it can be as high as 90 and as low as 5. And it depends upon a lot of stuff. Typically, people who are doing in-home estimates are getting a higher close rate as opposed to, quoting over the phone or online booking. If you look at online booking, that's on the other end where people a lot of times will go to an online booking tool and they're shopping, they're playing around with the numbers. How committed they are to actually buying something is unknown. And you might, getting a close rate of 1 or 2% off of all the leads on online booking might perceive as something that's good. So it depends upon on the platform. It depends upon how you keep score. Are you counting every lead that comes in, or are you just counting a bunch of them because of lead source and things like that? So it depends. No great answer there. It's all over the board.
Yeah, it definitely depends.
Go ahead, Greg.
It really, depends on how you do it. Tom's right. If you do in-home estimates, you'll close more, but that takes time. To give you a really guesstimate, I would say 7 out of 10 would be good. 8 out of 10 would be more what I would prefer. It's been a while since I actually checked those numbers in my own business, but 7 out of 10, 7 customers out of 10 should be what you're at or aiming for. And of course, it's important where the customers call you. If customers find you online and they call you, there'll be a higher close rate than if you're reaching out with cold calling, of course. So, yeah, it really depends. I hope that helps. I'd say 7 out of 10.
Right, Liz?
Yeah. So one of the things that Greg said I really love is that how they find you really matters. So if they come to you and you rank number 1 on Google, your close rate's going to be higher than if they can't find you on Google. All right. So don't forget that piece. But what I would say is, who cares? Don't pay attention to what anybody else's close rate is. Find yours, start tracking all of it, and make a commitment to increase that close rate every single month. If you can increase it every week, even better, but at least every month. If your close rate is 10%, I don't care. Next month, that would be 11, and then 12, and then 13. If you can go 15, awesome. That's my advice, is just grow it. Who cares what you're starting at? Get better. You'll do the research, and you'll figure it out, and you'll get even better.
That was good advice.
Very good advice.
Thank you. That's why I wanted to go last.
Yeah, if I'd have gone last, I'd have probably given an awesome answer like that.
Probably.
Yeah.
Kelly had a question here, Tom, real quick. It looks like we missed. She wanted to know some example of low quality directories that would hurt. Because for us that don't have any experience, we have no idea what we would even be looking at.
Well, that's a good question.
There are tools out there. I know Moz is one of them, but there's others that will look at every backlink you have and they'll assign what they call a spam score. And the higher that score, the lower quality link. And Greg could tell you all the techniques you need to go through in order to get that link disavowed so it doesn't hurt your SEO, but that's probably a longer discussion than we have.
Tom, would Moz Local be an example of a company that would help her with this?
Moz Local will get you links and directories. The actual Moz Professional is what would look at all your backlinks and let you know what their spam score is. That's a separate
There you
tool.
go. There's
Yeah.
something there, Kelly.
Kelly, I use SEMrush is one of the tools I use for my SEO, and it also one of the things that it lets me know is the quality of my backlinks. It lets me know if there's a really low quality bad backlink that can actually harm my rankings. And when you think about that in terms of directories, there's a lot of spammy directories out there whose only purpose is to actually just provide backlinks. Now, I guess the rule of thumb is the more backlinks on a page, probably the worse the page. So they have a page of, let's say, 1,000 backlinks to other house cleaning services. That could seem pretty spammy. Focus on the good ones. Like I said, cleaningforthereason.org, get on that directory. And there's a lot of other directories that are cleaning related that you want to get on. And here's a trick, actually. If there's any directories that are local to your city, get on those. Those are awesome. They tend to be, they're small, and the page rank's not that high, but Google takes in consideration websites that are local to yours, and that's another way to get a leg up. But
Local.
Yep.
Yeah.
Local.
Mhm.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you for your help with on the spot today. This is good stuff, and appreciate your insight, particularly on the SEO and some of the technical sides of this, because this is important information for everybody that's trying to build a cleaning business. It's a lot of moving parts.
Also, I don't know if you saw Rochelle was on here. She missed the Facebook Live, but she's gonna watch later. She says you're awesome, Greg.
She is a fan. Hey, Rochelle.
Oh, hey, Rochelle.
We are at the top of the hour, so if you haven't signed up for Cleaning Business Today, we make it really easy. Email, first name, last name. You get our newsletter. Our newsletter gives you the schedule for smart business moves, along with late breaking news and other reasons. If you're in the house cleaning business, you would want to subscribe. If you want to get to our resource page, which has some links to Greg's website, among other things.
And by the way, Patricia says chamber directories. Yes, those are ideal. So if you can get your local chamber of commerce, get in their directory.
All right, that's really good. Even I can do that.
So, thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good weekend. We'll be back here Monday, 5 o'clock. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.